Welcome home. You must be tired. Come on in. Hi, mother-in-law. As I try to follow my husband inside, my mother-in-law blocks my way. Jennifer, could you go shopping for us? Wait, just me? Of course. You're the daughter-in-law. Here, I made a list. With that, she slams the front door shut. My name is Jennifer, a 25-year-old housewife. I've been married to David for 2 years. I actually had a long-term boyfriend before. He confessed his love to me at our middle school graduation, and we dated through high school and college for 5 years. I assumed we'd get married once we settled into our careers. But then, as my sophomore year of college was ending, he vanished. I'm sorry. We should break up. That was the only message he sent before disappearing from my life. I couldn't find out where he'd gone, even my local friends. I was devastated. If you want to break up, at least give me a reason. He vanished without a word after 5 years. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't move on for a long time. I wished he'd just dump me harshly. I spiraled during the rest of my college years. I went to parties every week and became known for hugging every guy there. Thankfully, I never went further than that. It's a relief that he didn't do anything more. Probably because he had self-control. My longtime friends couldn't stand to see me like this. They started introducing me to decent guys. Maybe a new boyfriend would help me settle down. That's what they must have thought. All the guys were calm and quiet. But I wasn't interested. I was afraid of being abandoned again. Still, I showed up for my friends. Then, I met someone who made me think maybe this could work. That was David. David was older and had a clear vision of marriage from the start. I want to focus on my career and I want a wife who'll support me at home. His words struck a chord. I remembered imagining married life with my ex. Yes, I had dreamed of marriage. We started dating with marriage in mind. After graduating college, I worked for a year to gain experience before we got married. Even though it was just a year, I learned a lot and didn't want to quit. But it was a promise with David. I wanted to get married, so I quit my job and became a housemaker. Our married life has been smooth. David has been nothing but kind. I actually know how to do household chores since I lived alone before getting married. David would even take the lead in doing chores when I wasn't feeling well. He doesn't work for a big company, but he's dedicated to his job. We may not live a flashy life, but I was content with our marriage. One day, as we were approaching our second Christmas together, my mother-in-law called. Come home for Christmas this year. We have to visit relatives too. I felt tense at her tone. She always speaks sternly, and since my own mom is laid back, I always get nervous around mother-in-law. Yes, of course. We'll both come home. Last Christmas, we went on a trip since it was our first year of marriage, so we didn't visit the in-laws. I remembered how David had said he'd explain to his parents, but then left it to me when mother-in-law called. Could it be that he can't express his opinions to his parents? The invitation made me dread the upcoming Christmas. That's what I thought, but my husband's house is one I don't interact with on a daily basis. But I told myself it's just 2 days. I can endure it. Hey, David, mother-in-law called. What did Mom say? She said we should both come home for Christmas. We have to visit relatives too. Right, we didn't go last year. So we decided to spend Christmas with the in-laws. We prepared gifts. We should be good. On Christmas Day, we headed to the in-laws. About an hour and a half drive away. I was nervous about going back after so long. Just relax, it's Christmas, David said casually. As we got out of the car, someone called out to us. David! Rushing over and wrapping her arm around David was his cousin Emma. Oh, Emma! David shook off her arm, looking annoyed. Emma is a year older than David. The first time we met, She spoke to him while wrapping her arm around him, which surprised me. I thought she liked David and saw me as a rival. But the truth was the opposite. Emma had teased David since they were kids. Even as adults, she still teases him like this. That's why David isn't fond of Emma. But Emma is really friendly to me.
Jennifer, long time no see. Let's have lots of drinks together this Christmas. See you tomorrow. I have things to do.
Sure. See you tomorrow. Emma quickly went back into the house. Bad luck to run into Emma right away, David grumbled. The entrance to his parents' house is in the opposite direction from the relatives' entrance. Complaining, David started walking toward his family's house. Thanks to Emma, I'd forgotten my nervousness. Maybe she came out just to help me relax. Thinking that, I reset my mood and followed David into the in-laws' house. We're home! As my husband opens the front door, mother-in-law rushes over.
Welcome back. You must be tired. Come on in.
Hello, mother-in-law. As I try to follow my husband inside, mother-in-law blocks my way.
Jennifer, could you go shopping for us?
Wait, just me? Of course. You're the daughter-in-law. Here's the list. With that, she slams the front door shut. The shopping list she handed me was ridiculously long. Olive oil, vinegar, baguettes, drinks, fruits. Clearly heavy stuff. Plus, it included expensive items like steak and lobster. I've only been to the in-laws a few times, and I have no idea about the area. That's a considerable amount, isn't it? How am I supposed to carry all this by myself? And what about the money? It's absurd to expect me to pay for all this. And my husband, who must have heard the conversation, doesn't come out. Hey, David, this is your cue. I stood dumbfounded outside, waiting for him to appear. After a while, I heard laughter from inside the house. I get it. I'm being ignored. I refuse to be treated like a housekeeper on Christmas. Fed up with mother-in-law's blatant harassment and my husband's indifference, I angrily drove back home. I bought food and drinks for a relaxing Christmas. After chugging a beer, I noticed an unfamiliar sound. It was coming from my husband's belongings. I got mad at my mother-in-law and went home with my husband's luggage in the car. I had brought his stuff home, including his phone. It kept ringing, so I got curious. I'd never looked at his phone before, but now I checked the caller ID. It was a woman's name. As I froze, the call ended and a message came in. Contains a series of short sentences. Therefore, messages can be read just by looking at the mobile phone screen.
David, when are you coming back from the in-laws? I'm jealous here with your wife. I'm holding off on seeing you for Christmas, but come see me as soon as you get back.
What's this? Apparently my husband was cheating. In that moment, my feelings for him cooled. I thought mother-in-law's harassment was a minor issue since we rarely met. But if my husband was cheating, that's a different story. There's no point in enduring a marriage like this. I immediately tried to unlock his phone. The password was unbelievably my birthday. Using my birthday to lock a phone he uses to text his mistress? Seriously? I collected evidence of his affair. No need for a private investigator. His phone had enough proof. The exchange of messages and photo folders were more than enough evidence. Now, what should I do? I sent a message to his mistress from his phone. My wife's went back to her parents' house after a fight so we can spend Christmas together. Come over. She replied immediately. I sent her my address and waited. She said she'd be there in about an hour. Then 30 minutes later, the doorbell rang. That's quick. I opened the door to find my husband, father-in-law and mother-in-law standing there. Oh, you're back. Mother-in-law and my husband look downcast. What happened to you two?
Let us in for now.
My husband, father-in-law and mother-in-law came into the room when I heard that voice. The voice wasn't father-in-law's. Who could it be? I look at the entrance and see Emma standing there. And next to Emma is grandmother-in-law, mother-in-law's own mother-in-law. I'm stunned by grandmother-in-law's appearance. Why are you?
Come on, David, and Ansu too.
Jennifer, sorry for ignoring you earlier.
Jennifer, sorry for making you feel harassed.
Upon closer inspection, both of them look quite pale. Because grandmother-in-law is staring at him. They've been scolded by grandmother-in-law, who hates wrongdoing and bullying. She's intimidating because she's blunt. But you can tell she's loving when you talk to her. I've always liked grandmother-in-law for that reason. Apparently, Emma had confronted my husband because our car hadn't returned to the parking lot. My husband had been lounging at home, not even realizing I was gone until Emma asked. Furious, Emma questioned him and he blamed mother-in-law. That's how the shopping incident came to light. Grandmother-in-law had heard about it and had been scolding them. Father-in-law, who had been out cleaning the neighborhood, was also shocked when he heard the story later. I had turned off my phone, so they couldn't reach me. They had rushed home to find me. As we were talking, the doorbell rang. The person ringing was, of course, her.
Emma, could you get the door?
From the entrance, I heard a,
What? Come in, you? Stop, no.
I hear voices arguing. My husband looks pale, realizing who has arrived. Now the climax begins. I had a hard time holding back my laughter. The woman my husband thought he had invited tried to flee, but was caught by Emma and dragged into the room. Everyone was stunned when they saw her. I was too, because she was dressed like a maid, complete with a frilly headpiece and a fluttering miniskirt. So my husband was involved with someone like this? The woman, thinking she had been invited by my husband, was shocked to find a room full of adults.
David, what's going on?
Well, David, explain.
Well, this girl is,
Your mistress, right?
What? How do you know?
Yeah, because I saw your phone. I've gathered plenty of evidence from your phone, from photos to messages. I've seen it all. Hearing this, the mistress turned beet red and let out a strange cry.
No, David, mother-in-law, help me.
Wait, mother-in-law? Shockingly, the mistress wasn't just calling my husband's help, but also for mother-in-law's.
What's going on here?
What followed was utter chaos. My husband was grilled by Emma and me about the affair. Mother-in-law was being sternly questioned by father-in-law and grandmother-in-law about her mistreatment of me. All three were angrily told that it was unacceptable for mother-in-law to have condoned the affair. The shocking part was how my husband met the maid. Apparently, mother-in-law was the catalyst for their meeting. For some reason, mother-in-law had taken an interest in maid cafes. Feeling awkward going alone, she had my husband accompany her. They both liked the place and started going regularly, which led to the affair. Mother-in-law even had a soft spot for the mistress and seemed to have turned a blind eye. I can't fathom why she wouldn't stop her son's affair. So we decided to divorce by Christmas. It seems father-in-law and mother-in-law also decided to divorce while they were at our place. Witnessing 2 divorces, the mistress was trembling. Emma was keeping an eye on her, speaking in a stern voice, so she seemed quite scared. She might be traumatized by the idea of marriage now. Well, that's not my problem. I got a settlement from my husband, the mistress, and mother-in-law, and went back to being a free, single woman. I found a job, and life was good. Actually, something interesting happened to me after the divorce. Emma and I had become drinking buddies. Today, we're going bar hopping again. As I head to our meeting place, I see someone standing next to Emma. Is that Emma's boyfriend? As I approach, the man turns around, and I'm almost breathless. It's my ex-boyfriend, who had disappeared. He's also surprised to see me. Emma, sorry, I have to go.
What? Jennifer, why?
I start running, and my ex chases after me.
Jennifer, wait, let's talk.
Finally, I got to hear the truth about back then. Apparently, his family had been going through a series of misfortunes. His grandma had dementia, his dad's business went bankrupt, and his mom collapsed from caregiving fatigue. They had moved to the countryside to live with relatives. His grandma passed away, but things have settled down now. He apologized for not having the courage to tell me about this family situation. I get it. You had a tough time, but you should have told me.
I'm sorry.
Even though it's in the past, knowing the truth made me feel better. And then, I get another surprise. By some coincidence, my ex works at the same place as Emma. They had the same shift today, so he invited her for drinks. Emma was the most shocked to find out about our past relationship. From then on, we became drinking buddies, including Emma's boyfriend. Whether or not I'll get back with my ex, I don't know. But for now, I want to cherish the fun life I have.